Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sebastian. Welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show. We'll cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a pretty crazy show for you guys here today. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel. So, as you guys know, we recently produced a show that was centered on some news about how some members at ESPN essentially were relieved that Shannon Sharpe was no longer gainfully employed at ESPN, which is crazy. Because if you think about where Shannon came from to where he is now, man, it's really, really incredible. You know, I used to say it years ago that Shannon Sharpe is going to be one of the biggest things in media. He's going to make more money than he's ever made in his entire career. And I was absolutely 100% correct because that's how much I believed in him. And we go from there, from being sitting on top of the world, being on First Take, they're bringing in record views every single day, ratings, to now it's like, what's going on with Shannon Sharpe? As you guys know, he recently lost his job at ESPN. Then he got hit with another $20 million lawsuit over some just total madness. And, you know, I'm sure when they got hit with this lawsuit, Shannon and these guys were pretty upset internally because apparently somebody didn't vet this story properly. They didn't vet the story properly. They weren't certain that this was a true story. They went out there and propagated some misinformation. And then when the lady contacted them to remove all the information, I guess they didn't move quick enough, and they didn't move it on Apple streaming, and then all of a sudden they hit her. They hit Shannon Sharpe's team got hit with this lawsuit. So we have that. So we were reading from an article from The Sun, which had the following headline. It says, "Sigh of relief: top name to replace Stephen A. Shannon Sharpe could eat Stephen A. Smith alive as First Take staff celebrates ESPN's." So I focused on the second half of that story, but I didn't focus on the first half. It says ESPN could be targeting a big-hitting American sports legend to replace Shannon Sharpe on First Take, insiders have claimed. Disgraced former NFL star was officially let go by the TV network this week in the wake of his accusation claim. Sharpe announced his exit from ESPN in the wake of his involvement in a sexual assault lawsuit. The 57-year-old, who has not appeared on air since the storm broke in April, has settled his lawsuit with his female accuser. A lawsuit was filed against Sharpe by a woman with whom he had a 2-year relationship, allegedly that he engaged in a pattern of manipulation, physical assault, and sexual assault against her. Sharpe was first sued for $50 million, but it's unclear how much the settlement involved. The U.S. Sun understands loudmouth First Take host Stephen A. Smith was pissed to see Shannon Sharpe get to go despite alleged attempts to keep his pal on the show. It then continues on. Insiders, however, stress most staffers were delighted with the decision, with one describing it as the best news we could have hoped for. According to two well-placed sources, Jason Kelsey, who has proven as a hit as a pundit on Monday Night Football, isn't interested in the role. But that opens the door for NBA legend Charles Barkley, who is the name on everyone's lip. Charles would be a fantastic addition. I used to work with him many years ago, and he is a funny guy who would fit perfectly on that show. A member of the production staff told The Sun. It says, Barkley is best known as a pundit for his appearance on TNT Inside the NBA show, where he stars alongside Shaquille O'Neal. But with the show to be screened on ESPN from the start of the new season later this year, after the NBA announced an 11-year, $76 billion deal with ABC and ESPN, the transition would be smooth. It then says he could eat Stephen A. Smith alive with his analysis and with his personality, and many of us can't wait to have someone put Stephen A. Smith on the grill and not be afraid to debate hard with him, added the source. So apparently now they're looking at going after Charles Barkley. What are my thoughts on this? I don't think this is going to work at all. The first reason I think it's not going to work is because the show starts too damn early. I believe First Take starts at 10 a.m. to 12 noon, if I'm not mistaken. I don't see Charles Barkley waking up that early to go do that show. Number one. Number two, I don't think Charles Barkley needs that show. Like, Charles is not like somebody that's really trying to make a push in his career. Charles has been at the top for a very long time. He makes a lot of money on linear. We're not talking about like somebody like Shannon Sharpe, who was not making Charles Barkley money, that would have loved to be on a show like that to promote his podcast. Charles is already making buku dollars anyway. He doesn't need to do any of that. So I don't believe that there will be a financial incentive. Number two, Charles has made it clear that he's more of a part-time guy, and he's always said Them fools are not going to work me over there like dogs at ESPN. He has always made jokes about that. So why would he now all of a sudden decide to just go out there and start picking up for what? For an extra check? Here, the guy's already making enough money, according to him. So I don't think that he would go through that and put himself through the rigors of waking up every day. Now, maybe, if he's filling in a role like Shannon did where he would appear twice a week, then possibly it could work. But I don't see Charles really willing to go on there and debate with people that he calls fools. I just don't see it. I don't see Charles reducing himself all the way down to sitting across the desk and debating with people that he doesn't agree with. And I don't know how Charles Barkley on ESPN First Take enhances his brain that's already big. I think he would do more for the show than the show would do for him. That's what I think. Charles on that show would do more for the show than the show because he's the best in the business. So if you can get the best in the business on your show, then obviously it's going to bode well for your program. But does it help Charles and take him to a new stratosphere? Not really. Yeah, will they have more quotes about him out there and all that? Yeah, will he make more money? Yeah, I guess. But does he really need to do all of that? I don't think so, right? I don't see that happening. Maybe they may bring him in on one-offs and to give a take here and there, but to make it like a regularly scheduled thing where Charles Barkley's coming on every single day, I don't think. Charles already has concerns of whether or not the Inside the NBA show is going to work on ESPN anyway. We just did a show about this not too long ago where he was worried about, well, the magic of our show is the post-game show where we have like 45 minutes to shoot the bleep, to use his words. And now they're going to be in a situation where they're like, you're only going to have 15 minutes. And before that, they're going to say, hey, guys, we need to cut to the Sports Center. So he already has his concerns there. Shaq has already voiced his concerns as well. Kenny Smith has already voiced his concerns as well. So to now take this on as well, I just don't see that happening. I don't see it happening. But this is just my thoughts. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you on the next show. Peace.